A man in Minnesota has been charged with murder and manslaughter after his ex-girlfriend committed suicide. Now, this is a pretty unprecedented case because usually when someone commits suicide, they have taken their own lives and they're the only ones responsible for that. But prosecutors are arguing that this man, Long Vang, was so brutal and terrible to his girlfriend that she had to take her own life as a result of it, or she decided to take her own life as a result of it. So there might be some disagreement here. I don't know how I really feel about this story. I'm torn, but let me give you all the details. It centers around a woman by the name of Jessica Damian Haban. She's the person who committed suicide, and she was actually in a mental health facility for several months before she decided to leave, and then a few days later took her own life. Now, her ex, who she was with in a very tumultuous relationship for 11 years, is Long Vang, and he's charged with third-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter, and stalking. In announcing the charges, the Olmsted County Attorney Mark Ostream alleges that during the couple's time together, he subjected his partner to ever-increasing levels of domestic abuse. The abuse was verbal, emotional, mental, and physical. In May of 2015, Mr. Vang's abuse resulted in a traumatic brain injury to his partner. Ultimately, his partner took her own life to escape the relationship. I was reading about all the different instances of domestic abuse, and one that stood out to me was when she allegedly had a nightmare, and he got mad at her for having a nightmare, so he poured vegetable oil all over her. And then she went into the shower to wash it off. And then he goes into the shower, allegedly pulls her out of there by her hair and like throws her around. So he was brutal to her, and she suffered this type of abuse for a long time. The kids had talked to counselors about it. And so I don't know how well documented that all is. We don't have all the evidence, obviously, but it's very clear that, he was abusive, and she got a no contact order against him. But documents reveal that he was communicating with her. He had sent her thousands of text messages and phone calls and things like that, trying to basically get in touch with her. And he kept telling her, if you don't get out of that mental health facility, I'm going to take our kids away from you. They have 2 children together, which is probably why she decided to leave and then later committed suicide.
So, a couple of things here. First off, there are people like this. I don't mean just physically abusive, but people who make it their life's mission to manipulate others. And they're so toxic, and they're like a maelstrom, and they drag everybody down with them. They psychological manipulation after manipulation to get what they want, and it's draining. Even in the mildest forms, it's draining to deal with these people.
Yeah.
And then you have an extreme form like this, and your heart goes out to this poor lady. But if we say that verbal or psychological abuse that leads to suicide is murder, I think we've opened a door that we probably shouldn't open. So I'm worried about that being a precedent. Now, the third part of this is if she suffered traumatic brain injury and that affected her and could be proven, and be a hard thing to prove, that's what led to her suicide, well, that's a different story, because there you have physical injury that later, in a very unexpected way, led to her death.
Right.
So even there, I'm a little, concerned about that. As a member of the jury, if I was on that jury, I'd hear that out. But if you just leave it at verbal and psychological, I'd say, no, you can't charge her with murder. As heinous as he might be, and as much as you can tell, I hate that kind of guy for both obvious and non-obvious reasons, I wouldn't go with murder.
What do you think about manslaughter?
Look, I've always had problems with the gradations of murder, where we're like, okay, was it a nice murder or was it not a nice murder?
Right.
Was he being particularly hateful when he did the murder? So, I get the reasons for it.
Those gradations do matter.
They do matter, I get it, and it's not black and white. But no, I still wouldn't go for manslaughter.
What I want to know, and I guess we'll find out as the story develops because we don't know all the facts, we don't have all the facts, right? Is if she was in an abusive relationship for 11 years and there are some documents proving that she reported it and that the officials knew about it, why wasn't he already in prison, right? Like, why is it that it's documented that he had hit her on her head with a closed fist, and she had reported him to the cops, and the prosecutors didn't go after him for that, right? I think that this kind of opens up a bigger discussion about the way officials respond to domestic violence in the country, right? Because if I were a prosecutor, I'd be like, this guy's dangerous, okay? There are multiple instances of him being physically abusive with her like this. So let's go after him and see if we can make him pay some consequences.
As you know, oftentimes those same guys who are so psychologically manipulative will then manipulate the people they have abused into not pressing charges.
Right.
And which is obviously frustrating for the authorities. And here I really don't know the motivation of the prosecutors. It could be one of two things. One is that they're overcompensating for not having acted earlier. The other is they're saying, well, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm drawing a line, and I'm going to seek justice here. And maybe a little overzealous in that pursuit. But they do have an interesting case about the physical damage to her brain that might have led to this. But either way, we of course all wish that they had intervened earlier.